digital layout tool. You would just click your book or your covers. Then you right click and choose Edit Page. Edit Page will take you to the digital layout tool. The digital layout tool has many features. Let me go over them with you. Up here is simply where you save the page. Here is where the page will be previewed, and it'll create you a low-res JPEG preview of your page. Also, Help will eventually show some features. But let's go over the tools. This section here represents the tools. You have your Create Text Area, Create a Circle, Create a Rectangle, and Create a Line. You have your Hide Margin, or if the margin is hid, it'll be Show Margin. Notice the margin is this gray area out around the page. So I hide that and I show it. Then hide grid and show grid. The grid is these little boxes that represent your paper as a grid. They're great for lining up objects. I can show them or hide them. And also the S is the snap to grid. That means that an object that I move will always, if it is on with the little blue line around it, will always snap to those little boxes. I could turn that on and off. Also, the X means to delete a section. I can choose an object and hit the X to delete it, or choose a group of objects and hit the X to delete it. Also, this just scales the page. Here is at 100%, 75%, 50%. Also, you can scale up so you can zoom in to do some detailed work. All this does is change the viewing of your page. So let's use some of these objects. Let's create a text box. I click on the text box. Now, you notice that I've created a text box. Anytime you add a new object to your page, a text box, circle, square, line, you will see it always places them in the top left-hand part of the page. Then I just grab the M and move it to where I want it on the page. So I'm going to use this to call this page my sports page. So I'll take and put my text here. I'll pull out the box. So I'll get it to 1/2 inch margin all the way around. You always want to be sure that anything that you do not want to get cut off on your book is within this live area, that white area of the page. This represents your margin. Every piece of paper that's properly done has a margin. Any letter, any book that is built. We have these margins set at 1/2 inch. So I'm coming in my book 1/2 inch. My book will actually trim approximately right on this outside line, but I want to be sure that nothing important is up in this area, so I'm sure that it will not get cut off with any type of trim. Also, it makes a book look cleaner when you have a margin around the book. So be sure to just stay within the live area in order to have your objects, your text, your heads, your faces of people that you don't want cut off. So now that I've positioned my text box on my page inside my margin area, let me type in, I'll highlight and type in my title for this page. Sports. Alright, I'll take and select it. And now let me show you the other tools. Over here, if you have a text box created and you're editing the text box, over here you'll notice the tools become available just for the text box. So I can go here and change the size of the font. I can, let me make it a little bit bigger. I can choose to center it. I can choose to left justify. I can right justify, or I can full justify. And now, since there's just one word, the full justify won't show that very well. But go back here to center. Also, you'll see that I've used these four tools down here now. Also, I can go here and click and change the font color. When you're in the color picker, you actually have two options. You can either choose a color by clicking on this colorful square block, or you can type in the colors by using your CMYK. To keep consistent color throughout your book, use the CMYK. Find the color that you like, and then write down these four numbers, and be sure to use those exact four numbers everywhere you want that same color throughout your book. So you can use the picker to choose your colors. I can move around and choose the color that I'd like to have. Then I can write down these four numbers to keep my color consistent. It's kind of a teal looking color right there to keep it consistent throughout my book. Or I can already choose the colored list that has your basic colors already mixed for you. So go to color list, pull it up, and you'll notice I have a list of colors already created for us. Well, that's great. We're going to use the maroon here for our sports. So I'll choose the maroon color and choose OK. Let me click off of there, and you see that the word sports is in maroon. I'll go back. Now, so let's change the font. I'll select it. I go up here. I choose the font that I want my sports. Now, since I'm choosing that font, let me create a little bit larger. There we go. Of course, you have your bold, italics, and underline. Also, you have opacity, which allows your text to become transparent. So that is the text tool. Then you have an object tool. Go over here, let's create a circle. Notice when I create a circle, it puts it on the top left-hand side. I'll grab my circle and drag it down. I can grab the circle, move it here, or often remember to just use the M to move an object. I can also size the circle by choosing the S. I can change the size of my circle. Also, I can rotate my circle. Let me pull it down here so you can see this. I'll take and rotate the circle. Now these circle and rectangles and lines are objects for use in design. I can just take this circle, I'll place it there. And notice also I have a fill color and a stroke color. Notice how this tool's over here changed to work with the object I have selected. If I have the text selected, they change to the text tools. If I have the circle selected, it changes to the object tools. Now, I have my object. I want to put a stroke around it. The fill color is this tealish looking color. My stroke is a black. I change the thickness of the stroke, which puts a line out around my object. Right? Also, the object can be the opacity. Notice that how you cannot see through this circle when it's over these words. If I change the opacity, you start being able to see through the object. So I'll put that back to 100% and pull it back over. All right. That's how you create a circle. Same with the rectangle. Choose a rectangle, pull it onto your page. Let's just resize it by grabbing the S. I'm going to pull it up. And now I'm going to pull this up to where it bleeds off the page. Notice that I'm coming into the ruler area. That's because I want, when they trim my book, I do not want to see a little white edge here. If I would position this exactly right there, there's a chance that I would get a white edge around the outside of this. So I always want to pull anything you want to bleed up into the ruler approximately 1/8 of an inch. It can be more than that, but you don't want no less than 1/8 of an inch. Now I've pulled my object in there. I'm going to take and drag it across my page. Notice that I'm pulling it out on this side so it'll bleed also. I'm going to change the color of this to a yellow. I can choose through the color list or the color picker. Let's do it through the color list. And we'll choose yellow. Choose OK. Oops, I missed it. There we go. And I also want to send my object to the back. Now what I mean by that is my box is on top of my circle and my word sports. So to send to the back or move to the front, you use these four objects. If you hover over them, each tool will show you what it does. I hover over it, it says send to the back. I'll click it, send it to the back. Now my circle and my rectangle is behind my circle and my sports. Also, you can see what objects are on top and below each other by using your layers. Notice that the very bottom layer is the object that's on the bottom of the layer and each object above it. So now I've created a circle and a text box and a rectangle. Same is true with a line. Create a line, always puts it in the left hand side, grab the M, move your line to where you want it, drag it out by the S to size it. We'll size that thing completely off of the page. Now I'll take and change the color. We'll make that a black. All right, there's my page. I don't really need to have it out that far. See if I can scale it back in. Now I want to be sure any object I want to bleed that I come outside at least 1/8 of an inch past the edge of the paper. There I go. Now let's look at these tools over here. Now notice when I have the line selected too, the tools change to my object. I can increase the thickness of that line or change the color or the opacity. Also, you have a shadow. You could do a drop shadow. This is true with your text, your rectangles, lines, circles, any objects on your page, your clip art, your picture boxes, whatever you want. I'll choose my text and let's put a shadow on my text. Now I've shadowed my text. I'm going to shadow this box. Now I've caused a drop shadow around that box. Now let's move over to these 3 little tabs. You have the layers, which I've already showed you represents each object that is on the page. And then you have images, is where you find the categories in which either you've uploaded images or you're using images that we've uploaded. Any images that we have uploaded for you that we have taken starts with a category called Fox. So you go through and you'll see the category starting with the word Fox is where you'll find the pictures we load for you. Of course, you have all your clip arts for your animals and education and so on and so forth. And then also your class pictures, they'll all be under there. So let's just take, and let me just put a clip art on the page. Let's go under education and let's find the clip art that we'd like to use. I'll just take this one, drag it out, drop it on my page. I'm going to take the little S and scale it. I'm going to take the R and rotate it. I'm going to position it right there like that. Also, I'll add a shadow to it. There I go. Now, so you just choose your category and then drag and drop your clip art. Also, please notice that anytime you're looking at images, this little gray area down here tells you the maximum size that that object can be used on the page. All right? Now let's take and show you the template. Now you'd want to be sure to save your page if this is what you would like. But let's show you how to build a page from a template. From a template, I click on the template tab and I go down and find the template I would like to use. The C's, the template starts with the T. The C stands for a center spread template. That's where you have a picture that's going through the gutter of your book when you're building a page as a spread. In this example, we're building single pages, so we would not use the C's. You have then the L's, the templates that starts with the letter L. This stands for recommended left-hand pages. Of course, these little thumbnails will show up here in just a moment. Here they come. Okay, so you have your L's. Then you have your PLs, PL1 and 2, 3, and 4. That's for your panel pages. If you're auto flowing, please look at the tutorial for auto flowing. Then you have your R's, which is recommended right-hand page. Then you have your TPs. Let's just use one of these TPs. Now, the TP just stands for template. Looks good on the right or left-hand page. No recommendation. Use it anywhere. We'll just grab this one here. I'll choose it. I'll go down here to the bottom where it says Use Template. I'll click that. It's going to give me the warning that all existing contents will be deleted from the page. That is fine. That's what I want to do. So I'll choose Continue. Notice it'll replace the contents of my page with that template. All right, there I go. Now when you use a template, it shows you some recommended places to put your text. Now I want to be sure, if I do not want to use any of these places, to get rid of those boxes. To get rid of those boxes, you would just simply click on it and go up here and choose either the red X here to delete it, or go up here and choose the X to delete it. But let's leave them on there for now. Let me show you about dragging a picture into this box. I'll go back to my images. I'll go down here and let's see, I think I've put some in a category Fox Fall Sports. Alright, now what I'll do is I'll just grab the image, drag, and drop it into the box. Now you'll notice that I have a crop area. This yellow area is what will crop into that box. So if I just wanted to crop just that little section right there, I could take and do it like that. And that would be the only part of the object that would show up in the box. But I want pretty much this whole picture. So I'll just move it, grab the red box, drag it out to about, that's what I would like to have in that box, and choose OK. Now let's take and drag this into this box. And drag and choose OK. You see how you drag and drop pictures into a template box. All right. Of course, I would go here then and type in my caption for my picture. Also, I could put a stroke around the box by going up here and choosing stroke and changing the thickness of the boxes. So you just kind of build your page. Also, even though you use a template, all of these objects can still be moved. They can be deleted. They can be rearranged. If I wanted to pull this box up, I just simply pull it up, move this one here. You can still move the boxes around. You can still also rotate the boxes to build you just sort of a custom by using the layout templates. There we go. And then be sure at any time to save your page. Learn to save your page often after you make changes.